this is Steve Domenico in the Room podcast with a very, very special guest at Brendon Marotte, Kid Marotte, 5-1 pro MMA fighter, taking on Dan Dubuque at Combat Zone 73 next Friday night. Huge news, huge matchup. Brendon, man, how you feeling? And you know, what's going through your mind right now?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me. I feel good. I feel great. This is like a last-second fight, but the agreement was last second. We've been training for this card for a while now, so we had a full camp ready to go.
So, you know, you were looking for a fight. Did you happen to see Dan's fight Saturday, just out of the blue, knowing that he was fighting for, a 155-pound title in New England? Did you happen to check it out or hear the news or whatever on it?
Yeah, I knew he was fighting for it. I didn't get a chance to catch a fight. I don't think there's any video out at the moment. But I knew he was fighting. I knew he was just big fast and everything. So, yeah. But I heard the fight was super. I think 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Nice.
Five round grueling pace. I mean, grueling 5 round, basically grappling. You know what I mean? Jacob Bond, that's kind of his game. He's gonna, keep you down there, drag you in deep waters. Dan going up in a weight class because he's naturally 145er, fighting, Jacob Bond for that title, man. And he just got, overwhelmed with the kind of wrestling and the BJJ that Jacob had. Dude, did you ever expect that you would be matched up with Dan Dubuque a week or a couple of weeks after he just fought a title fight?
No. Like, Jerome, he does the matchmaking Combat Zone. I know he sent out a post saying looking for a 145 or 155er. And to hear his name pop up was one of the last names I thought I'd hear because like we were just talking about, he got into a grueling 5-minute round fights, but the guy's a gamer, so his fighting style carries off into his lifestyle. Man, the guy's just a gamer, so that's cool though that he wanted the fight. So I needed one, so I appreciate it.
Excellent. Now you're both. He's fighting at 155 again. You're going up. You're a 145. I even talked about in the past that in the future you could drop down to the bantamweight 135, but you're going up to 155 to face Dan to get this fight. That you've been dying to get because you've had 2 fights fall through since your last fight for Combat Zone back in April of 2019. So you had to take it, and it's Dan Dubuque. Has Dan ever? I mean, you came out of the chute 14 months ago, making your pro debut, 5 fights in a row, 5 wins in a row. And then Dan Dubuque was on a tear, winning, a title at Cage Titans. Then he fights for CES, wins. Then he fights for their belt. Was he ever in your radar, like as a young gun, seeing Dan going, hey, maybe I got to face this guy someday?
Yeah, I think it was a while ago, maybe when I was like 3-0, 4-0. His name came across and everything, and there was something going on, but he ended up fighting Bruce. But I know, like, our names were thrown in the mix there a while back, so I definitely had my eye on him. And when his name got thrown in the mix, I watched his film. I studied him a little bit, knowing he would be a potential future opponent.
Well,
so, anyway. Speaking
about this matchup now, it's a very intriguing. It's a great matchup. I mean, it's blowing. Last minute matchup. It's you two guys. You got Brendon. You're 22 years old, right?
23.
23. All right.
Yeah.
Dan's around, 32 to 34 years. He's been around forever. Dude's never been finished. That fight with Jacob, Jacob had his back many, many times. A fight with you and Dan is not going to be this wrestling kind of thing. You're a striker by nature, watching you and the way you finish fights. Dan would much rather stay on his feet, trade. If there's a scramble on the ground here and there, he's, welcome to it. But he'd rather stand on his feet. What are you thinking about this fight, man?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm going to have a guy that's going to stand up with me. But after my last fight, when I took my first loss, Adley Edwards, super phenomenal wrestler, college wrestler and everything like that, that really lit a fire underneath my ass. So after that fight, I had a fight set up with
Ali
Zebian.
Yeah,
Ali Zebian. And sadly, that fight had to fall through. I got take fight. It put me in the hospital for a few days, just recovering from that. But that whole camp ever since the Adley fight leading up, I was working on my wrestling, working on my jiu-jitsu, working on my takedown defense, working with Matt Smith from Smitty's Barn. That guy's absolutely phenomenal. So people are seriously going to be surprised when they see what I can do wrestling wise. And yeah, I 100% want to stand up with Dan, and I know for a fact he wants to stand up and try to take my head off. But if you try shooting, if it's just not going to be what people think it is. And if I feel like to take him down, definitely have that skill now to take him down. Compared to my last fight, I'm extremely well-rounded, and my striking just got even more vicious and better.
Excellent. Have you been, it's been, since April, man, where, over 8 months since that removed from that fight. Have you been adding anything to your game since, a young kid, 23? This is going to be your seventh pro fight.
Yeah.
Anything you're adding that you were, adding to this camp? Any new training partners? Anything like that going on to evolve, all around game?
Yeah, I got the same training partners and stuff, and I've added some new ones because I've got a boxing gym now that I go to. The Haverhill Downtown Boxing, the coach is Ray Hebert down there, so I get to work with a lot of high-level boxers, high-level amateurs, and professional fighters. So I've had some training partners through that. And really just this camp going into, like I said, I worked on wrestling, I worked on the grappling. I kind of just drowned in myself in grappling and wrestling. I've been making a lot more. So, yeah, a little bit here and there, I had some things and some training partners, but it's the most solid I've ever felt. Adding those couple small things, I feel good, I feel solid, and I'm comfortable being there with a grappler, a striker, or a wrestler, you know what I mean?
Excellent. Well, Brendon, you talked about, that progression and, coming off that fight where you lost it basically in the wrestling game, unanimous decision back in April for Combat Zone, where you're definitely going to be the fan favorite. When Dan put out the news, a little, tease that he's coming back to fight, we were, all right, what card is in a week or two? We were thinking, definitely Combat Zone. There was a couple of other promotions maybe, but he talked about fighting in someone else's backyard. Man, we kind of thought he was going to go there. What's the fan atmosphere going to be like, man? Because he's a huge name. Dan's a respected fighter. He's never been finished. He's fought nothing but beasts. You're going to be, I believe, the youngest fighter he's ever fought. And he's looking to fight a kid with a name to get back on track. Along with you are in the same game, only you got a, older kind of veteran here that could blast you off, in 2020. How important is this fight for you?
This fight's super important to me. They're all important, but this next fight, no matter who it was, is super important. I came off a loss. I had 2 fights fall through. I got sick, and I went my whole career without having any problems. So it was a little heartbreaking when it happened, but this fight is super, super important to me. Like you said, he's a tough guy. He's only fought gamers. I'm going to go in there and prove that experience, gamers, I'm just experienced as you, and I can finish these guys. It's coming off my loss, so I'm going to get this win. It's very important to me and everything.
Excellent. Do you think, of course, just fighting Dan is an accolade. It's going to boost your career. Do you think you need a finish in this fight to finish a guy that's never been finished to blast you off, or do you think a win over this veteran here is just as good as finishing? The name's there, and it's going to just potentially blast you off, no matter how the outcome of this fight is. A win's a win to you.
Yeah, I know beating Dan is definitely going to put my name way up there. Whether it's a decision, I submit him, or TKO, KO, whatever it goes. But everyone knows once I get in there, I'm going for the finish. I want to put someone to sleep. I want to brutalize you on the ground and just beat you up. So that's 100% what I'm going for. And, I got no problem comfortably saying that I know I have what it takes to be the first one to finish Dan. I know he's fought some very, very game guys. I just know he hasn't fought a guy that hits quite as hard as I do.
Excellent, man. Well, you two fighters are very respectful. We got the young prospect, the new generation of fighter, fighting Dan, who's kind of shown the way of you young guys there. He's very quiet on social media, until people stop picking at him a little bit. But you guys, very cordial together. It's going to be a very respectful fight. And, it's a win-win for New England to watch you two guys go and battle there. I know it's last minute fight here, dude, and you got tickets to sell because people really didn't know you were going to fight, man. So last thing, bro, shout out, sponsors, friends, whoever's, helping you through this, that you can get tickets out there, and then all your social media to whoever's listening.
Yeah, definitely. Just huge shout out to my friends, family, my coaches, training partner, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, um, Fuji. Those guys have absolutely incredible gear. I run all their stuff. I love it. It's incredible. CBD Mega Warehouse. I actually got a link in my Instagram, 10% off. And you can find me on Instagram at Kid Marotte. Facebook is just Brendon Marotte, and then Twitter is the Kid Marotte.
Excellent, my man. Well, you're going to be pushing them tickets, man. We're going to be watching on social media, getting ready for this fight. We just blasted off the news yesterday, so people are still absorbing it right now. We got the weekend, so people are going to be paying attention to you guys. The final card hasn't been announced, as it shouldn't be, because we got major fights happening and adding to the card. So the card is next Friday. I think we're just about set. If you go to CZFC.com. I think that's the website. If not, you can just check them on Facebook, see their card, their entire card. Brendon and Dan are added to it now. It's a great card. I'll be there next Friday night, giving all the results and watching these two beasts, young and older, going at it. So, Brendon, man, thanks last minute coming on and giving me the beans, bro. I appreciate everything you allow me to do for you guys.
No, thank you. I appreciate it, man. You give us a lot of exposure. It's great. It's awesome. And I always enjoy, being on your show, man. I appreciate it.
Excellent, man. Well, I'll see you after the show. So, Brendon Marotte, 5-1, pro MMA, stepping up, going up in a weight class to 155 to face Dan Dubuque, 8-4. Dude's a beast, 2 killers. We got the new generation, and Dan, who's kind of been here a while, showing the kids how it's done. So, tune in next Friday night. Combat Zone 73. It's coming at you. We out.